Hey everybody, just thought I'd showcase a proper costume that I worked on a little bit earlier in the year. These are, of course, Nike Air Mag shoes from the Back to the Future 2 movie. So I've always been a huge Back to the Future fan, and I always wanted these shoes, but I couldn't afford the real ones. So I think it was probably back in about 2014 or 2015. The HalloweenCostumes.com came up with some more cost-effective versions, and they were licensed by Universal, so they're official Back to the Future shoes. And this is kind of what they look like. They don't have a lot of detail on them. There's a whole bunch of things that are off, and I'll kind of go through some of the differences. But it was a pretty good start, and they're pretty affordable. They're only like $99, and they were just flying off the shelves. And so, what a lot of the good people were doing on the RPF were making, just customized versions of the shoes, and that's basically what I did too. So, one of the first things I did when I got the shoe was I did this steam toe mod, where basically you take a steam iron, put a t-shirt on top, wet it, and then iron it down to kind of flatten it a bit. Because the issue is that the shoe, when you get it, is very, very kind of rounded toed. And I didn't go as flat as some of the other makers did, mainly because I was wearing them, and I didn't want it to be super super flat. So I just kept them sort of halfway. And then the next thing I did was I repainted the outsole. So the outsole on the original shoe, as you can tell, is totally the wrong color. It almost matches the fabric of the shoe, and in actuality, it's kind of a gray, but it's actually a lighter gray than the shoe itself, but it's sort of a greenish blue color. And so I basically sanded the original paint off and cleaned them all off, and then painted them with acrylic, two or three coats in the right color. And then I did all the stippling, was done with an airbrush, and that's kind of how I got all these sort of swirl marks. I think I did a few just sort of flicking and swishing with the brush, but most of it was done with an airbrush and just kind of stippling it, taking the end cap off, and just kind of letting the nozzle sort of fly back and splatter at it. So just some old airbrush skills from my college days. I've left the lights exactly as they came, so the shoes do light up here. But what I did was I got these Electroluminescent or EL logos from a run that was being done in the RPF, and you can either get them there or you can get them, even on eBay. You can actually get the material, which is just electroluminescent tape, and then you can what you can do is you can just on a laser printer just print out the letters that you want, and glue that on top, and it's only going to let light through where it's clear. So those were done on a run on the RPF, and I got a set of those. I needed to create more room in the back of these heel cups, or these ankle cups. And the original shoes, as they come, they don't really have a lot of room back there. They're basically solid foam rubber. And so what I did was I made up two really simple molds. I basically cast some silicone molds of the existing heel cups, and then what I did was I brushed in Smooth-On's Shell Shock, which is like a brushable urethane plastic, and that creates a much thinner shell, and that'll just give me a lot of room. So I made most of these sort of support areas a little bit more solid, but for the cup itself, I just made it really, really thin, and that gave me enough room for the electronics for the EL tape. So it's got to house a switch and a little resistor thing and a battery, and sort of like a watch round battery, and it fits great. The other detail that I've added is, of course, the Nike Swoosh, which isn't on the Halloween Costumes shoe, of course, because they're not licensing, or it's not Nike, it's Universal Studios that's doing it. So I just cut those out of white vinyl and then glued them on with some Zap-A-Gap CA glue. And then the trickiest part that people have been dealing with is the lettering in the back, the Nike Air Mag lettering. So a bunch of people have approached it different ways. A few people have done runs on the RPF of sort of rubbery letters that you can kind of stick on. And I thought, I can probably do it myself. So what I did was I found a friend who had a laser cutter, and I made up a PDF file Adobe Illustrator file for the lettering, and just going off reference photos and this sort of thing. And I made up my own Nike Air Mag letters. And so we just did a few tests on this thin 1/8 inch craft foam, and I just laser cut all the letters out, and then I just popped them out and then glued them on with CA glue. Once they're painted with that base coat of the bluish gray, and it kind of seals in all the edges, you really can't tell that they're not molded into the shoe. If I bring that up really close, it actually looks pretty good. And I think one of the tricks with that is I made sure to paint all of the outside edges the same color gray as the outsole rubber, and so that really helped a lot to kind of sell that aspect that as though they're molded in, but they're not. I know some people even gone to the effort of, what if they actually remolded the whole heel cup? You can absolutely go and do that, but it was sort of how much time and effort do I want to put into this? So this was for a Marty McFly 2015 costume for Fan Expo Vancouver in 2015, and it turned out really, really awesome. And if I get a chance, I'll post up a link of the finished photos. But I was really happy with this project, the way it turned out, and spent a bunch of time on it. And yeah, I'll have Back to the Future. So there you go. Hope you like them. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.